G'day ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another video. So in today's video, behind me, we have the mighty AU drift car. This video is pretty much just going to be me going over it, preparing it for the drift event we have in about a week and a half. We're just going to be going over a few things, like I've got a puncture in the front, we're going to go over all fluids, show you what it takes to prep a drift car before an event. You'll probably hear a bit of construction noise in the back. There is construction happening everywhere around here, being a new estate. I can't escape it. And there's noise coming from everywhere. It's windy, it's just the worst conditions to film, but we have to get through it regardless. Behind me we have the mighty AU Falcon. So we're going to be smashed into her today. So I actually brought her home on the weekend, so last weekend. So it's been here for about a week now. And it drove home phenomenally with the new gearbox. It felt really good, it shifted really smooth, the clutch feels good, everything feels really good now. So I'm going to do things like top up the diff, make sure that's all good, go jack it up, have a look underneath, recheck the gearbox oil of course, and just make sure it's mechanically sound, as well as checking all the steering components, making sure our brake lines aren't going to rub again, stuff like that. So without further ado, let's get into it. Now I've got the old girl tucked in here, as you can see. Mighty R31 is here as well. Got the garage door closed, so I'm going to open that in a minute to give us some light, because it's pretty dark in here. But here's the AU, just sitting, chilling, looking sexy as hell. It is so loud out there. Wait till I open that door, you hear how loud it is. They're laying tarmac across the road. So they got every machine under the sun. Of course, on my day off. There's a 31, isn't she pretty? Okay, so the biggest thing we have to address first, this tire is going flat after like a day. So I put like 20 pounds in it just now, and we're gonna see if we can repair it. Hopefully it's just a puncture we can repair. And I've got a repair kit over there and I'll show you how to do that. Also, we're just gonna go over everything in the bay, make sure it's all good. You know, top up our coolant over there, little shit like that. We'll jack her up, go underneath and have a look. So I'll get it all set up and we'll come back to it when it's all ready to go. All right, so you can probably hear the construction now. You'll know what I mean. So I've got the wheel off here, as you can see. Just had a good look over it just to see what was going on. And after a pretty close inspection, I have found the culprit. So I've actually lost it already. Where the hell did it go? It's a little tiny prick. Hang on. I've lost him already. Okay, so upon further inspection, you can see right my finger is. That little thing sticking out of the tyre. That's a solid piece of metal. So I'm hoping it's just like the, I hope the head of the nail or whatever isn't in there, so I can try and extract that. I'll get about 20 PSI in there, so I'll get some pliers on there and try and extract that. The only problem is the hole is so small, my repair kit, I'll have to drill the hole out a little bit bigger. And at least it's inside there, it's not on the actual tread. And luckily it's not on the sidewall too. So we'll try and extract that. So now I've got these little, there's multi-grips here. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna get onto it and we're just gonna try and twist it. Hear the air coming out? There we go, it's out. That was it, done. So I can hear the air escaping. So what I'm gonna do now is quickly just get a marker and mark this area so I don't lose it. And I've got to drill that hole out a little bit bigger and then we'll put our plug in it. All right, so I've just marked it there. So I've got our plug kit here. It's just a pretty generic plug kit. You got your little silicon plugs or whatever the freaking hell they are. I'm pretty sure they're silicon. You got your cement. This is the actual tool you apply the plug with. And this is our tool that's gonna open up the hole. And we're gonna massage it in and out just so it makes the hole nice and uniform for that to fit. Now the problem is here, our hole is way too small for that. So what I'm gonna do is actually get the drill out, drill that hole a little bit bigger, just enough so we can get this tool in, and then we can put our plug in. Okay, so that's drilled a bit bigger. You can hear the air coming out now. It's still a bit too small. We'll try it with the tool. Sometimes you really don't need this tool, but it's just good. So here we have the bigger size up, so we'll drill that out a little bit more. You don't want to go over the size of this, otherwise your hole's going to be too big. So now our hole's a decent size. Put our tool in, and we're just going to press really hard. So I'm going to put the camera down and press really hard. Now, you know when you're in, when you start hearing the inner belts of the radial start creaking like that. I'm going to come back in 5 minutes because the machines are coming up the street. You can hear them. Well, that was a Roadrunner machine coming up the street, so it was bloody loud. So another thing I'm going to do now is actually just put some tyre cement on the actual end of that and then just run it through. That way when we put our silicone plug in, hopefully it just seals up all around it, and then we can just snip the top off. So I'll put you on a tripod and show you how to do it all. All right guys, so I brought you to a place that's a little bit quieter. I mean, like when you're inside the house, you don't hear it, but as soon as you come out here, God, it's the loudest thing on the face of the earth. All you hear is beep, fucking beep, fucking beep. So now we've got that hole nice and gauzed. You get some bloody cement. I'm just gonna put some cement. Hopefully it hasn't freaking gone solid. Oh no, we're good. Yeah, just over the hole. And then, oh, look at that, beautiful. Work that shit into the hole. Now this is a steer tire, so it's pretty critical. So if it does keep going down, As long as it holds there for like a week, I'll still use them as steers. If not, I'll just chuck them on the back and run the rear ones on the front, because the rear ones are still brand new anyway. These ones have had a little bit of use. Just a bit more around it, just to coat the sidewall of the hole so we can get full penetration. Oh yeah, I think that's pretty much it. Just choose a plug. So I'm gonna go that one, the middle one, 'cause it's a bit thicker. Now the hardest part of this whole thing is getting the plug through the end of the tool there. So I'm gonna play around with that off camera so you don't hear my swearing and carrying on. So I'll try and run this through here. Sometimes it does get jammed, so I just try and flatten it out as much as I can and run it through. So wish me luck. So I can get it through this side. What I do, try and get a pair of pliers and pull it through. Now you can pick up these puncture kits from, you know, any auto parts store, online. Pretty universal, does the same thing. There we go, got it through. Fuck, use it takes a lot longer. We lucked out in that one. So you want to put it about halfway through like that. So when you plug it, the end of this is designed to actually open as you pull it out of the plug. It'll keep the plug located in the tire. So what we do, now there's probably a lot of different ways to do this, so don't get angry at me if I'm doing it different to what you usually do, but you just want to keep pushing until you get the plug most of the way in. Now you just want the two ends to stick out ever so slightly, but you want to be able to push that plug in. So just keep turning and push. There we go. There we go. So you can see our plug little bits coming out. Now if we yank it out, it should stay in. There we go, done, plugged. Leave that for a bit. I'm gonna put a little bit of cement around there, and then once I do that, we'll snip the top off. Wow, some fantastic news is we sorted the puncture and the construction work across from me has stopped. First, I want to say a massive shout out to the guys that came over from the construction site behind me. There was about 3 of them that popped over and said hi. They were viewers of the channel and they love the cars in person. So shout out to you guys for coming and saying hello. So for now, I just have a stocky on the front while we let that puncture all settle and the goo dry. So I've got the arse end jacked up on jack stands at the moment. I pop both wheels off. Handbrake's pulling right up to the top now, so I think one of the cables has come off at the bottom, so we're going to attend to that. As well as I want to top up the diff oil. And that's pretty much it for the arse end of the car. We'll just go under, make sure everything's all good. So I'll pop the wheels off and get stuck into the arse end. Looks like we're not going to be having a working handbrake unless we go to the wreckers or something, because I got my phone light so you guys can see. Behind, there's a cable hanging there. And it's supposed to be a little mechanism, like a little L bracket that goes in there that pushes on the handbrake shoes. And it is missing, completely missing. So that's why only the driver's side handbrake is grabbing and this side isn't. Fantastic. So obviously we can't really fix that at the moment. Haven't really got the piece. That's okay, we didn't use the handbrake last time. Let's get involved on the diff and I'll try and fix that right before the event. We'll go to the wreckers or something. We'll pop the diff fill plug and we'll start filling the diff up. All right guys, so I'll go under the car now. We've cracked the bolt off the back. I don't have a funnel. And I don't have one of those proper diff bottles, so I'm using one of those bottles there. So I've come up with a conclusion. First I cut the top off one of these bottles, but the opening was a bit too big for the hole, so what I did was I actually just cut a toilet roll in half, use it as a bit of a funnel, and that worked perfectly. So now the diff is nice and full. Probably needed about 500 ml, so we're a bit low on diff oil. So it's all full now, thank God for that. Sorry if I'm filming at an angle, it's very cramped under here. As you can probably see, it's hard to see, but on that side where the handbrake lever is, there's that lever it pulls on. And if we go to this side, it's completely missing. That's why the handbrake pulls up to the bloody roof, because that's fallen out somehow and we're missing it. Probably fell off on the drive here, who knows, because the handbrake was working before that. So yeah, that's great. But I'm gonna pop the drain bolt back on, and then we're gonna go over and see if the tire that we puncture repaired holds air now. Button this up and let's get back to the front end. All right, so now that we have the diff oil nice and full, I'm gonna go to the tire and see how our repair is. Either side, that's the tire sort of silicone. I'll cut this nub nice and flush. So hard to do with one hand, so bear with me. It'll wear off anyway, but now I'm gonna get my compressor somewhere. Oh, it's in the front seat. A little compressor thing, pump it up to about 32 psi, and we'll listen for any whooshing. So we'll click this to about 32 psi on the old Stanley. And we'll wait. Almost at 30 psi, so we'll shut it off and we'll just listen for any leaks. There's our plug. Can you hear anything, guys? Oh, I just put my ear up against it, can't hear anything. I'll just move the plug around, make sure. We're good, so 30 psi. I think that's a success. So we're about a week and a half away from the drift day, so we'll see how much that maintains its pressure over the next few days. I kind of like those wheels on it actually. They're like a BA wheel, I think. They look pretty cool, but they'll be on the back. But yeah, all right, we'll pump them up to about 32, chuck that back on the front, and then now we'll just go over all the fluids. We'll clean up the interior, and yeah, that's pretty much it. I mean, everything else in this car, it's pretty mechanically sound. We haven't really done too much else to it. Preparing a drift car for an event, you want to make sure everything's 100%, because you don't want to be doing shit on the day when you know you're out there wanting to drift. So diff's full. I did check the gearbox, guys. Don't worry, I did. First thing I did, I just quickly cracked the fill plug out there, put my finger in, and straight away, as soon as I cracked the fill plug, fluid came out. We're full. We're full. Thank God. Don't worry. First thing I freaking checked. So diff, gearbox, next will be engine, coolant, all that stuff. We're just gonna add a little bit of coolant to our reservoir. It's just below the minimum. We'll just check power steering. Power steering's a little bit low, not too bad. We'll add a little bit of power steering. Brake fluid, that's perfect. And I'll just start it running for a bit and then we'll check the oil. Oh guys, it's so good having the doors open. Let me close the bonnet just so we can get some more light into the interior. Okay, so before we do the drift day, I want to just like clean out shit like this. This is all just shit that will end up being a projectile in the car. So this is all our old shifter stuff. So we'll pull all this crap out. I could give it a vacuum. I really can't be bothered. That's where our extinguisher is mounted down there. That's hard mounted to the floor. So you wiggle it, and that's nice and solid with a metal bracket. Over in the back here, not too much. Oh, we do have a bit of stuff down there we got to take out. Make sure there's nothing in the boot. I can't see anything from in here. So like all this stuff, all these loose bolts. Because when you scrutineer a car, they're going to check to make sure that there's no loose items in the car that can become a projectile in an accident. So all these bolts, we'll gather up, piss them off, put them in the bolt containers, add up all the rubbish. Little things like that. Fucking nero. Also, while I am here, does anybody on here do graphic designing or like designing liveries for cars, race cars? I want to do like a crazy livery for this thing. Anyone that does like, you know, livery printing, sticker printing, vinyl cutting, all that stuff, let me know. I would like to design a livery for this car. Just make it look pretty cool, make it stand out. I've always envisioned doing like a mock-up of Craig Lowndes' old V8 supercar, which is one of my favorite all-time supercars. But in saying that, I would kind of like to go something a bit more unique, something that really ties in the Fairlane front end on this thing. So if you do that kind of things or know someone that does, let me know. I'd love to do a collaboration, you know, and give you a shout out and hopefully do some good business for you. I'm always looking for new people to work with, so hit me up if so. Let's get this front wheel back on, make the car a bit more complete. Bang. All right, now she's all on the ground. I reckon what we do now is actually start it and run it and just get the oil flowing a bit. Then we'll check the oil, make sure that's all good. Make sure she's in the neutral. One thing I also want to do, guys, is if you're not familiar with the side pipe, just under here behind the skirt, there's a side pipe that comes out just under there. I don't know if you can see it, but probably can't see it, but I actually want to extend that side pipe, cut this skirt out here and have it tucked up nicely here, like a bit of a NASCAR side exit or a V8 supercar. That's something I want to do as well. So I'll probably do that after this event. Run for a bit. Just check the lights while we're here. They do like to make sure all the lights work. So we've got tail lights, yep. Yeah, number plate lights, don't really need them. Check if the Fairlane headlights work. Yep. Yep. We'll check hazards. So that one on the guard's working. That one's working. That one's working. That's working. Yep. Yep. Perfect. That's pretty much all you need. And brake lights. Yeah, they work. A bit rich. Yucky. My poor garage floor. Running very rich. Looks good with the lights on. Before we actually take it for a drive, I'll add some water to the coolant, make sure it's on max. And yeah, we'll quickly check the oil now. Hopefully don't have to add any. It's gonna be hard to do with one hand. Let me put the camera down. Check it back in and oh, she's low. Very low. This is why we do these. Oh, yeah, it's reading on the stick, but it's pretty low. So we'll add some oil and hopefully that should be all G. What do we have in the stash? We only have this 2050, that'll do. The intake will bloody run on whatever, so mate, we'll freaking chuck her in. I haven't got a funnel, so let's try not to spill this, eh? Set you up where you can see it. Proper brand new, fuck, I forgot I brought this. Let's see if we absolutely... Oh, look at that, mate. Oh, don't get too fucking carried away. Don't need no funnels here as I spill it. I'll just put a bit in. I reckon maybe a litre, since it was just reading on the stick. On the stick. Nice and thick. So we'll give that some time to settle. And we'll read the stock again. Yeah, while we're bloody here, bloody fill up the reservoir. See, this is the thing, like, I could have gone to the track without checking any of this. The motor oil just touching the dipstick, I could have blown the engine. So it's vital that we do these kinds of things. And I learnt the hard way because we didn't check the gearbox level before we went out. It's just so vital just to do this. It's a little bit more. I just got water because it's already cooling in there. So we'll do a bit of a diluted mix. It's not mineral water, but who cares? Race car, mate. Excuse me. All right, we've got the old max happening. Fantastic. About time for that oil to drain down to the bloody... Oh, I see nice fresh oil on there. Nice. I'll double check that. I'll wipe that off, double check it, and see how much we've got to add or if we're full. Okay, so I just add a little bit more oil. Coolant's topped up, so ready to go. It says here beware of fan, but there's 2 fans. Hopefully it's not you guys in there, because I love you. The type of fans I love. I don't call you guys fans, you're viewers. I don't see you as fans. That's degrading. You're viewers, subscribers, great people. Let that circulate a bit. Also just want to check our lock. Make sure our brake lines are good. Seem okay. All we're going to do is look in there and just make sure that they're not going to touch the wheel. They're ages away from the wheel. Same with that. Yeah, they're ages away from the wheel. We did break a brake line on one side ages ago when we first did this conversion. Yeah, look at that. And even fully extended, nice and loose. That's good. Our wheel's holding here, which is fantastic. Got the 180 here. Absolutely beautiful. Looking good out in the sun, glistening. Have the beautiful skyline. Isn't she pretty? Ooh. And then, oh, you can't beat that. AU, look at it. Oh, so good. Oh my God, bloody AU Falcon. Love it, absolutely love it. Every time I see this car, I just pitch an absolute tent. It bricks me up. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I hope this video excites you for our next track day that's going to be happening in about a week and a half. I am pumped. Car feels amazing, feels great. I have a bit more hope now, you know, doing the 40-minute drive from my other place to here, and it drove really well. Did a couple of skids along the way. And yeah, so I've just moved her out, parked her this way just so I could take some photos for thumbnail and Instagram. Went around the block just quickly just to make sure the diff and everything was all good and everything feels amazing. Car sounds great. All the fluids topped up, so pretty much just a little bit of a maintenance overview of the car, getting it ready for the next event. So I hope this video isn't too boring for you guys. A lot of you would like to see this and a lot of you probably don't, but I sort of want to try and film a bit more intricately of the things I do. Stuff I don't usually film, but I hope you guys enjoy it. So the next video 100% will be the next drift day. So I'm just stocking up on wheels and tires for now. Nearly still has a full tank from last event, so it's got about 3/4 left, so I barely need any fuel for it. So track day's all paid for, ready to go. Race license all done. So yeah, we're pretty much just ready to slay now. But she's pretty dusty, the old girl, but I'll pretty her up before the event, put some tyre shine on her, make it look nice. Without further ado, I'm gonna leave this one here, guys. Hope you enjoyed it, and for you that stuck around, thank you so much. We'll see you in the next video. See you, everybody.